everyone. Welcome back to Window Chats with Robyn, the Instagram Live podcast where I sit by my window and chat with very interesting people. Today's guest is Hankyol Koo. I'm so excited. I haven't seen him in a while. We met in a comedy class that is done in LA, Con, and that was a really fun class. And Ryan's a really fun guy, and I'm gonna invite him in. Maybe it will. Hi!
Hey, Robyn.
Oh my gosh, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. It's been so long. I was nervous.
I know, right? It's been, how long has it been? We took that Con class.
It was in the winter last year, right?
Was it that long?
I feel like it was. Maybe like February last year. February.
So almost a year.
Yeah. You look great.
Time flies. Did you say you look great?
Yeah, you do.
Oh, thank you. You look great too.
Okay. Go ahead.
I only seen you wear glasses in the Con class. I don't think I ever seen you with like makeup and all that. You look like you look great. Yeah.
Oh my God, I love that's a nice way of saying I didn't make effort during the class. That's fair.
No,
I didn't.
You're a natural beauty.
Oh, this is why I
Don't
love
tell
chatting
your
with
husband I said that.
Oh, you know what? Everyone I met in that class was so sweet. I loved that class. I loved the vibe of everyone. It was legitimately actors supporting actors. It was incredible.
It was a great class. I hung out with Jacko a couple times recently. My favorite moment of that class was when we did that exercise where we all go around the room and we all say an actor that the person reminds us of, right? And my favorite part of that class was when, people were saying like, oh, Mikhail, he reminds me of Chris, the guy who plays Hawkeye. What's his name? Jeremy Renner. He reminds me of Jeremy Renner. You would go to like Shannon. She reminds me of Amber from Saved by the Bell.
Yeah.
And then it got to me, and I forgot her name, but she was from Utah, and she's like, "Oh man,
Kristen?
I think it was Kristen."
Okay.
And she's like, "Oh man, I don't know any Asian actors. Jackie Chan." Do you remember that?
I forgot. I did. I forgot about that, but obviously because it wasn't directed at me. That's, you know what I usually get? You remind me of that Jewish comedian. Are you Mrs. Maisel?
Right.
So, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
That's a fictional character. I get that.
Well, I think the funnier thing is she also went to Jacko, and we look nothing alike, and she was also like, Jackie Chan. And I'm like, what? But I thought it was funny. I was just like, come on, there's so many more Asian actors now than Jackie Chan.
I think, it's hard to know that, I guess, if you're not. I always try to find, it's weird to say my people, but, I try and find my people because I like to support everyone, but especially my people. And so I know, and then after that class, when we were talking about, I go, I don't know as many people that I thought I did. Just like even Jewish actors, I'm like, I always just assume people are Jewish when they play Jewish characters, and then I learned they are not. And I go, oh, but we're doing the whole cast authentically now. Excuse me. Okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's so interesting. I think they're definitely more strict about it now, but I actually gotten a couple auditions for Native Americans because of my long hair.
Oh, your long hair.
Yeah.
Okay.
So. Yeah.
How would you feel playing that? Is there any part of you that is Native American?
No, well, I never took I took my ancestry test and I just got 50% South Korean and 50% North Korean. So.
That was real? Okay.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
That was real. I thought this is too funny to be real. Okay. That was well done. I watched a lot of your stuff. That was
Thank
really
you.
funny.
I doubt I have any Native American in me. But I mean, I'd be totally fine with it. But of course, there's already such little Native American roles.
Yeah.
I would definitely feel bad. But at the same time, if they offer to me, I would love to say I'm so virtuous that I would refuse to part. But I'll be like, well, give me the check. Where do I sign my name?
I don't know if it's a matter of virtue. I had a discussion with someone about this because I was getting really frustrated because we're talking about casting authentically. A lot of people that play Jewish characters are not Jewish people. And I started saying, because, everyone's getting upset that and that is what it is. And then I thought, you know what, though? There is something to be said if you are an actor that's going to take the time to research that role, learn about that heritage, and extend your knowledge base. So I think that's a very interesting learning opportunity for other people. Again, if you're going to take the time and do that, which I think any actor should, if they're doing a role that they're not, that's not what they were born in. But
Yeah.
I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
On being on
Like if you get cast in a role other than like you would do it, but still feel a little bad. I mean, is it bad if people play roles that aren't
I'm
there?
super
Ooh, it's so
like
sunny. Okay.
yeah. Oh, I'm
Like lost the
totally
sun.
yeah. I don't want to I think my opinion on these things is very not what the culture today wants to hear, but
Oh,
because
yeah.
I'm on window chats with Robyn, I'm gonna risk getting canceled.
The Instagram live. There's like 3 people that want to join this, by the way. You've got a lot of people just shouting out and writing random comments. You got a good following.
Yeah, no, I'm very grateful for the following I have. They're so sweet. I think most of the times when I post comedy videos, they're usually commenting like how cute I look or something like that, and rarely about the comedy. But
Well,
I
and you
can't.
have things with your shirt off. You're just doing
Yeah,
things. You got your man bun bit. It's really funny. Oh my
yeah,
gosh,
I
the
do have
Asian
some
man bun.
posts with my shirt off. But I have. It's because I think. Anyways, we're getting sidetracked here.
That's what I do. I sidetrack. You gotta.
Yeah.
It's a journey. It's like a.
I think I honestly am fine with it. I think if it's like me and my friend had a convo about what about biopics? Because I heard James Franco
Oh,
recently got casted as Fidel Castro. I think
I.
that's where I kind of draw the
Okay.
line, where it's a biopic and
Yeah.
you're supposed to represent an actual historically real person, and it's like if they cast me as to play like George Washington, I'll be like, that doesn't make sense. George Washington was a white guy. He should be played by a white guy. Same with like Gandhi. They should hire an Indian person to play Gandhi, not like a non-Indian person. But when it comes to like I don't know, like I know a lot of Mexican actresses and actors play Native American characters.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if you're trying to authentically represent them,
Yeah.
I think it's fine. But I know there's a lot of purists out there which opinions I also completely respect and get, where they're like, if it's a Native American, it has to be played by a Native
Yeah.
American, and whatnot. But I think it gets. I think acting, especially, there should be some leeway. That's my personal opinion. Because
I don't think.
otherwise,
Yeah.
yeah,
There's no right
yeah.
or wrong. You know what I mean? I think generating even this conversation is so interesting because everyone's allowed to have an opinion. I think as long as we're just being, I guess, respectful of everything. I don't. I'm always so scared to broach these subjects because, like you said before, I'm going to say something that's going to cancel me, and I, can we not have opinions anymore? Is that not allowed in 2022?
It's scary. Just recently, I look on Reddit sometimes,
Okay.
and I really hope I don't get canceled for this because I'm on the window chats with Robyn. Somebody, I sometimes I Google my name just to see what pops up, So I
Okay.
Googled Ryan Koo comedian, and there's a Reddit thread called Asian Identity, and someone posted a clip, one of my clips, and totally bashed on me and saying like this guy, it hates his own race. He hates being Asian. He is, like pushing Asian stereotypes. And I was looking at this and he wrote like this like long paragraph, like no, like maybe 3 paragraphs, and I'm like, he completely like manipulated it to like fit his
His
narrative, I
narrative. Yeah.
suppose. Thankfully, there were some people on that thread where they're like, no, I don't know what you saw, but that's not what he was doing. But you know, that's a good point. I think today's you could just take little things and totally make it fit. Like if they really wanted to cancel you,
Yeah.
they could easily find
Oh,
ways to cancel you. Yeah.
or just take your face, right, and put it on someone else. And what's that, deep fake or whatever the term is?
Yeah, deep fake, yeah.
It's really scary. But I used to be really scared for the longest time to share comedy because I have a very dark sense of humor. I have learned that. So people don't know I'm making a joke. It is a joke.
Yeah.
It goes places. I go, yeah, that was dark. I know. You can
That
laugh.
that is I think that's even harder than bombing, because that's my issue. When I'm bombing, I love it because I love making fun of myself in that situation. But when I'm making a joke and they think I'm being real, I think that's even harder to get out of than when you're bombing. Yeah, so I totally feel
You
you
know
on
what? You say you're bombing. I've watched the clips you shared, and I love your work with the audience. I guess it's called crowd work or whatnot.
that.
It's
Yeah.
so funny where you say a word. I think there was one clip you said one word. I can't remember what the word was, and this guy just started laughing, and you said, "Are you giving me a pity laugh?"
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Chopsticks, I think.
Chopsticks,
Yeah.
chopsticks. Yeah, it was, and you
Yeah.
just, oh, so funny.
Thank you. I love doing crowd work. I think that's if I could do crowd work the whole time, I totally would. In the stand-up community, some people hate crowd work because they think you're like copping out and you're being lazy. But honestly, I think it's just because they can't do it well. But anyways, yeah,
Oh, that's funny.
crowd work. I really try to do crowd work where I don't make the audience feel bad, because I think
Oh,
most
smart.
stand-ups when they do crowd work, they just completely like roast the. Oh, can we cuss on this?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, let's find out, shall we?
Where they roast the person, or, you know, they roast the shit out of that person like really harshly. You know,
Yeah.
like you make fun of them, they make fun of their weight, their clothes, their whatnot, and that always made me feel very sad. You know, because I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't want to, because you know, jokes are funny, but some jokes they kind of cut deep. So whenever I try to do crowd work, I really try hard to make it funny without hurting their feelings. Like sometimes maybe I will roast them, but I'll roast them in such a bizarre way that you know they're not going to get their feelings hurt. Yeah.
Are you sure you're not Canadian? Because it was just the most polite crowd work from all the clips I was watching. I go, he is not being mean to them. I don't understand this. But I also know you're just such a nice guy. So I didn't know it was an intentional choice. I thought you were just being yourself, your usual
Oh,
nice self. Yeah.
well, well, you're totally right. I think I am a pretty nice guy. I definitely, you know, try my best to not hurt people's feelings. So, I guess the intention is definitely a combined thing. But you know, some comics they don't like that either. They think crowd work should only be when you roast the audience member. So, I get a lot of slack from the stand-up community as well. But
You know what? You're never gonna please anyone. Like that's what was the hardest thing. I kept trying to create content that's gonna make people happy. And then I
yeah,
thought, well, no one's happy nowadays. Everyone's angry and wants to find fault with you. So I'm just gonna do something that I think is funny. People don't know it's
yeah,
comedy half the time, and that's cool. I've learned I play a very convincing Karen, and we move on from there. I
yeah.
have
You,
a.
yeah.
Oh no, go ahead, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying you totally nailed it on the head. I love Norm Macdonald. Do you know? Oh, he's Canadian. He started at in
So you're
Ottawa, I
saying
think.
all Canadians should know each other?
Well, do you know Norm Macdonald?
I have heard of him. I've definitely watched his comedy, but not recently.
He's I think he's definitely more of an acquired taste. I love Norm Macdonald. He's probably might be my favorite comedians, but he always says a big thing about him was he said never ever pander to the audience.
I like that.
So
Yeah.
he actually a lot of instances where you know like he lost his job on SNL because they told him to stop making OJ jokes, and he kept on making OJ jokes, and so he got fired from SNL. He was supposed to roast Bob Saget, you know. But he
Okay.
loved, yeah, at the Comedy Central roast, but he loved Bob Saget, and he's like, no, I don't want to do that. And then the director told him like right before the show, like really dig into him, like go all out. And he said a bunch of these old 1960s dad jokes. So his big thing was never pander, and I think that really stuck with me because yeah, you want to make content that you find is funny, and if you trust that, you'll find an audience for sure. Yeah. But um yeah, I think you nailed it on the head when you said like I'm gonna try to make something that I feel like people will find funny, as opposed to I'm gonna release stuff that I think is funny. You know, and usually the second way takes a little longer, but in the long run I think it pays off. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a question from one of the viewers watching was how do you decide on what content to create?
Oh, honestly, I love improv, and I love the funniest things that I ever came up with just came in the moment. So when I'm thinking about content, you know, just throughout the day, I'm always thinking like trying to be observant of situations that I feel like is funny. So or I just like scroll through the Instagram feed, and when I do like lip sync audio stuff, you know, because I just have to put my own caption on it, and then whatever like just comes to mind, I just do. But I like to yeah, I just throughout the day, I'm just thinking about situations like, oh, he just bumped into me and didn't say sorry. That's kind of funny, like how can I make that funny, if I like, manipulate it a little bit. But um
Do you find that your mind never turns off? Because I feel throughout the day, I'm living life, but I go, everything is funny in a way. And then I'm just writing this stuff down for later.
um yeah, definitely. I think especially because I know that I try to release one content thing a day. So I really
Okay.
have to try to like think of something fresh every time. So yeah, I'm always thinking like, oh, I'm trying to think about like what's funny, like what's happening now that is funny, I suppose. Yeah. But I want to be like who was it? Jim Gaffigan. He's the master at that, and his thing is how can I make everyday boring things funny, and that's his whole stand-up style, which is really hard to do. Like how can you make going to the DMV funny? Well, he has like 20 minutes worth of material on how, and it's incredible. Yeah. Wait, Robyn, did you see that comment? It
I
says
did. The problem was I was smiling when I read it. So I warned people in the blurb. It was good timing. People that are watching this after the fact, you'll never know what the comment was, but yeah.
um
Have you ever done an Instagram live before?
I have not,
Oh
no.
my gosh, how are you liking it?
Oh, I love it. It's very interesting. Yeah. So
Yeah, right?
people are just tuning in and watching as we're speaking, huh?
Yeah. People come in, they leave, they comment. It's fun.
Okay. Give a thumbs up emoji if you like Robyn and me.
Oh, that was, see, I did too, because there you go. That was for us. We're giving up our own thumbs
I
up.
don't, are they paying attention to us? Can you
I have
hear me,
no,
guys?
oh,
Hello?
that's, is anybody, oh, okay, okay, okay.
Well,
I'll,
maybe they're shy.
you know what I find too? People kind of just leave it on and then walk away. I do that a lot. I just kind of turn things on and walk away and multitask. Okay, okay, we appreciate the thumbs up. Oh,
We're
one
getting some
difference.
thumbs up.
Yes, okay, I've got some, thank you, thank you.
For the people who's watching at home,
Oh, wow, that's a lot of thumbs. Thank
we
you.
have
Okay.
thousands of people giving up the thumbs up
Millions of
emoji.
thumbs up. I'm overwhelmed. Okay.
No, I love it. This is cool. This is very interesting.
Well,
Yeah.
because I see you doing this. I was watching your podcast because Yvette was on it. I watched a bit of that. I go, oh my gosh, I love that they had this. Yvette was also part of our comedy class, and it was I just thought it was I love learning about people, right? Because we did the class and it's always okay, let's learn the script, let's break it down, where's the comedy, let's go, let's practice 3 hours a day for a month, 3 weeks, I can't remember.
I think it was 3 weeks.
three
Yeah.
weeks and
Yeah.
But then when I do a little deep dive into Ryan, I go, who is this? I knew you were funny, but I go, oh no, you're very funny. You have your style I love your style.
Well,
You
what do
suck
you think
me
is my
in
style?
because your style, I'm a fast talker. I'm a hand talker. People tell me I give off a New York vibe, but you just get up on stage and you have this calm, positive demeanor and you just you take your time with it. You get the crowd on board. I want to see you in person when I'm ever in LA. I'm gonna make it happen.
Oh wow, yeah. Well, let me know. I can always get you free tickets.
Oh, I love a freebie. Okay.
Yeah. Jacko from class came to a show. Eduardo from class came to a show. Nicole Soul came to a show. Yeah, calm, positive style. Yeah, I would love to have more energy on stage, but I think naturally I'm just such a nonchalant, laid back guy. It's hard, but yeah, I try to up the energy sometimes because sometimes you'll have shows where it's like five comics and they're all dry, and I don't want to go up there and even be just another dry comic. So I try to adapt, but it's hard for me to be like really
See,
energetic.
I don't know if I don't think it's a lack of energy. I thought it was you're just so calm in your material and your jokes that you go, you guys are gonna wait. Here's my
Oh.
joke. You laughed. Let's have a conversation about why you laughed. What are you drinking? That's a good choice. Like you're just doing your thing. Again, I couldn't watch all the clips because there's a lot, but the ones I watched, I go, what? This guy just gets comedy.
Well, one lady who watched my show said you're very droll, and I never heard that word before. Have you heard
Is
that
she
word
French?
before? Droll?
It's French for funny, I think. Did I just ruin my grade 10 French knowledge? Perhaps.
Oh, I didn't know if it was French, but you're probably right. It pretty much means like I'm gonna well, man, I can't think today. I'm gonna give the definition that I thought I read, paraphrase, but pretty much means you're creating an environment that's entertaining. And I just never heard that word before. And I thought
Uh,
that was a
Sorry,
very
missed
good
it.
description of my style. Because yeah, more than the things I'm saying, what I find is entertaining to people is kind of the awkward environment that's created by the things I'm saying, I suppose, and that atmosphere is what's entertaining as opposed to literally the words coming out. So I thought that was a very good word
Yeah,
that described
that's
my
a really
style a
good
lot.
word.
Droll.
That should just, when everyone writes down reviews and what people said about their shows, droll, random audience member.
Yeah, yeah. Droll, love that word. And
Word.
Tracy Wren from one of my improv classes, the one who said that to me actually. Yeah.
Sounds familiar. When you hear names and you go, I feel like I've met people, or you maybe I creep them online. I don't know what I'm doing. I meet so many people nowadays because it's so easy to just go online and get a sense of I think this is who they are based on their profile, and then it gets weird. I think I've turned into an online stalker. But you know what? I'm admitting it in a safe space.
Wait, who are you stalking?
I'm like something's funny, and then I look that person up, and then I'm like, oh, they did something funny with someone else, and I look that person up. Next thing you know, I'm in this whole
Oh.
spiral, and then I go, I think I know them. I feel like I have a sense of who they are based on their comedy, and then you meet them in person, and you go, no, that's so. I hate when I meet my heroes, and I go, but you don't match the comedy that I resonate with. You're so different.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So they are you're doing a part and they say your comedy style is not fitting the part?
No. So I'm saying sometimes I meet people that I've watched their stuff online and then they just doesn't match their actual persona without doing the comedy is so different. Yeah,
Yeah,
and I go,
yeah.
but I get it. Sometimes there are a lot of times when and I don't know if you feel this way, but when I create or put something out there, I want to create a persona. So if people don't like it,
Right.
it's not that they don't like me, they just don't like the character I've
Yeah.
created.
No, I heard that's true. And this is from just what I've heard from podcast interviews. So I'm just regurgitating what I've heard. But I heard Zach Galifianakis is kind of like that. He's very introverted outside of stage. Gilbert Gottfried, the guy with the crazy
Yeah.
raspy voice. I heard that's not his real voice. But most
No.
people think that's his voice because that's what he uses when he's on camera or on radio, but that's not his real voice. And
That, okay, if that's true, that's ridiculous. That is amazing.
yeah,
That's
'cause
to commit
yeah,
to that every time you're in a public setting or wow.
a voicemail of his got leaked where he was actually using his real voice, and Gilbert Gottfried got really pissed that that got released because he wanted people to think that his on-stage persona was his persona in real life. Um, and honestly, I'm kind of like that too. I'm actually a very introverted person, so off stage, you know, I try to be polite, but I'm a lot more shy on in real life. Yeah, not that shy, but I'm a lot more shyer on stage. You know, I can't. It's hard for me to be funny when I'm not on stage. Oddly enough, yeah.
So I find if I tell someone I'm a comedian, they go, "Tell me a joke." So now I
Yeah.
don't lead with "I'm a comedian." I go, "I do stuff." You know, I also don't like when someone says, "What do you do?" That's just a question I don't want to respond to.
Well, I could tell you the joke that I always tell people when they ask me to tell them a joke. Do if you
Oh,
want to hear it?
yeah, yeah, I do. I thought you
Okay.
were building suspense. I go,
Oh, no, that's just the way I talk.
I know. See, it's compelling. You pull me in. I go, this guy's funny.
Okay, well, a grasshopper walks into a bar, and a bartender sees him, and the bartender says, "Hey, we have a drink named after you." And the grasshopper says, "You have a drink named Steve?"
Oh my gosh. I love that you tell that one. I like that one.
Did you like it?
Yeah,
I think about 10 people left after I said that joke.
probably. Yeah, that was it is what it is. You see, comedy, you can't make everyone happy, but you tried.
That's true. Yeah,
It
that's
was, you know what
true.
it was? It goes, "Wow, I didn't know this was dad humor, Instagram live. I'm done."
Well, actually, I'm curious to what is it? I'm curious to get your viewpoint on this.
Okay.
It was the worst I've ever bombed my entire life. Like the worst. And it wasn't even a show. It was for a Universal Studios tour guide edition. Yeah, I thought it would be a good side hustle for me to be
Yeah,
a
I
tour
see
guide at
that.
Universal Studios. So we got to the audition. It's me and like eight other people in the room. And one of the stuff they had us do for the audition is we have to collectively tell a story. So you know it'll be like everyone is in line. Okay, you tell the story now. You continue it now. You continue it. And the premise is the Desperate Housewives is making a new Desperate Housewives show for NASCAR. So we're all trying to like tell this story about Desperate Housewives of NASCAR or something. And you know, they go, and it comes to me. And the part of the story is like they're looking for more diversity to cast for this new Desperate Housewives NASCAR show. And it gets to me, and I say, okay, yeah. And a lot of Asian women wanted to audition, but none of them were able to make it because they weren't good drivers. And everyone in the room it was like literally like the air got sucked out of the entire room. Like everyone was like, man, what the fuck's wrong with this guy? Like they just like hated me and started giving me like the stink guy. Like I had this one lady who was liking me, who I was smiling at me a lot, but as soon as I said that, she like got super stone cold face. But I was the only Asian person in that room. And I was the one making that joke. So I just thought that was funny, you know, where other races were gonna try to cancel me for me making fun of my own race, I suppose. But
That happens though. I know because so I sometimes go really dark and make Holocaust jokes. And you know, and people don't know because if they laugh, here's the thing, Ryan. If they all laughed at that, would they be in the wrong? And I that might have been around the time where I mean, still the time now. People don't know how to respond to comedy that might potentially be offensive.
yeah,
I would have loved to be in that room so much.
It
Oh,
was
I
very
would have been
like
the only one laughing.
afterwards we had to wait outside because they tell you who moved on right
Oh, that's
after.
fun. I miss those.
Yeah, and I was there for like we were probably outside for like 10 minutes and no one talked to me. They were all talking like I was in the middle of the group and they were like all talking amongst each other over me, through me, and I was just standing there like it was sad.
I mean, you try to go for a joke. Like, I, I, you know what it is? I wonder if part of it is they have to be so careful. And you said something that's on the, we might not be allowed to say this. And if you said it in public, if you were representing them on a
That's a good point.
tour,
Yeah.
that could be what it is. You have to, so there's like, they want you to do this improv exercise, but they also want you to be very politically correct and professional. So is that really comedy? I don't know. It's reserved comedy, it feels like.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
point. I think that was the note I gave myself too. It's like know the room, I suppose. Yeah.
No, that's my struggle. I always lead with sarcasm, and it is not always a good first impression. So it's challenging. Yeah.
The most challenging thing about stand up, I would say, is if you don't get him by the first like minute, it's gonna be really hard to have a good set after that. Like the first impression is so important. So if you nail it, you're probably gonna do really well. But if you say something that doesn't land, it's gonna be a tough set, probably. Yeah.
Sometimes people can win me back. You know, sometimes it's a little rough, and then they say a comment, and I go, okay, that's funny. I'm listening. Okay, you got 30 more seconds of my attention, and then I'm zoning out.
Right, right. Yeah, it's yeah, stand up is so interesting. It's such a that is such an interesting thing though. Like, you could completely bomb, but if you have 5 minutes left, you can somehow still win them over, you know? That's such an interesting thing about stand up. So, as long as you still have time, there's still hope that you can have a really great set. But the harder you bomb, the harder it is going to get the to have them come back to your side.
Just just start doing some crowd work, see what happens. Oh, I swear I'm funny. It's I think it's just really hard to write universally, right? And
Yeah.
the people that I tend to laugh at are people, and this is really hard for me. I tend to do uh, a lot of times I would do self-deprecating humor, and then I was trying to, not hate myself so much, so I switched away from that, and people didn't like it. And I go, okay, all right, because apparently it's not good to talk poorly to yourself. It's just really bad for your mental health. That's so they tell me. But
Yeah.
people love, see, at least I always laugh at people that make fun of themselves because I think it's funny.
Right. Yeah. No, you just reminded me of what Norm Macdonald said in a podcast interview about political correctness and whatnot,
Yeah.
and trying to play to everyone, you know. But he said something like, "Oh yeah, like, I'm only going to, yeah, I'm not gonna cater to the 99% of the crowd at the comedy show who came to have a good time. I'm just gonna tell politically correct jokes for the 1% who care about that. But I'm only gonna tell politically correct jokes. But the thing is, they're not gonna be funny. That's the thing about politically correct jokes. So I think it's kind of the same thing. Like I think if you just do what you find funny, it all works out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really appreciate all the comments people are writing. There's some good people watching, some good things being written. Um,
Sadly, comedy has been regulated. Yeah, I completely agree. Miss Mickey Noodles, completely regulated. And, it's, I don't know, like, I, I definitely think there's a line for
yeah.
sure, but I think the line should be here where people should be getting offended. I'm like, okay, that makes sense for you to get offended, but people are getting offended like all the way back here,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. I just scrolled back a bit. Sir Popinart, yes, you can listen to this after the fact. This will be saved on my Instagram, and then it will be shared everywhere. YouTube, Apple Podcasts, all the podcasts. I do a better job of promoting myself when I don't have to promote myself. But yes, you can watch it after the fact. It's just more fun to watch it live because then you can write your thoughts. But yes, available. Um, what I was going to ask you is, and I'm always curious for anyone that does comedy, is did you always know you were funny? You know what? Did someone go, "Oh, you're funny," or did you just kind of feel like I want to explore comedy and see what happens?
That's a great question. And I still remember the first day where I thought to myself, like, oh, I just made a lot of people laugh. And it was in my elementary school Catholic church summer camp. I think I was in like the fifth grade or something, and uh, my Catholic church, we would have these summer camps where we would go away to the forest for like the weekend, and we do, games. We compete with each other, and we would do skits. We do
Okay.
skits with like Bible stories, and we try to make it funny. And I still remember my line was just one word. It's like, I just had to give a really deadpan response because my voice, not so much anymore, but before, was very monotone. And I think the word was like nope or something like that, and I just said it really dryly, and they say, oh yeah, just say that. And we did the skit, and I said nope, just one word, and everyone laughed. And then that's when I had the thought in my head, like, oh, I don't know what I did, I don't know why people are laughing, but they really seemed like they enjoyed the way I said nope. And also from there, I always, for my Sunday school, I had to become I don't know, the person that sends an email to the class every week about like updates, about events coming up.
Right.
When I was in like middle school, so I was crafting these emails thinking like, oh, how can I make it funny? Because I knew like there's nothing worse than someone coming in to share information that you don't care about
Yeah.
in a dry way. So I always thought of ways, how can I make this funny? How can I make this funny? And even in college and high school, I was always put in situations where I had to talk in front of a room that I never met before. Like in college, I had to recruit people to join choir. I was a music major. So I would be going into these random classrooms to have people join choir. And, no one wants to join choir. So what I did was I tried to make it as funny as possible. And I think throughout the years, just always being placed in positions where I was kind of forced to make people laugh,
Right.
it kind of, I kind of realized over time, like, oh, I think I kind of have a knack for what I think would make people laugh. Yeah.
It's so
Or, yeah.
interesting because you say you're forced to make people laugh, but you chose to make people laugh, right?
Yeah, I'm
You
sorry. Yeah.
chose to be
Yeah.
more, but I mean, you chose to
Yeah.
be engaging, right? You go, okay, well, how can I take something boring and make it interesting?
Yeah.
Comedy. And I
Exactly.
find that's what helps comedy so much. I feel with even serious subjects, if I watch comedy and they're kind of subtly including a serious subject, that message resonates so hard with me.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. So yeah, I shouldn't have said forced, but I was always motivated to make stuff that wasn't funny, and I guess that just kind of grew over time. Um, but yeah, my sense of humor is still pretty much the same as it was when I was like in elementary school. Like a lot of it is kind of like timing. I think timing is very important.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you don't talk too fast, make sure you have some pauses before the punchline. That I always kept. I'm like, oh, I always phrase things a certain way that I found effective. I love, yeah, deadpan humor, dry humor. I love comedy where like 70, and Will Ferrell said this, where 70% of the room is like, oh, I know what he's doing. Like he's playing this character or he's trying to be awkward on purpose. But the other 30% are like this guy has issues. Like I love when there's like that mix in the room where,
Divide, yeah.
yeah, half the room knows what I'm doing, the other half's like, why is this guy up on stage? Like he needs help. Yeah.
There's a lot of theories too that people are writing too. If you're more of an introvert and you use comedy to be more of an extrovert, and there's a lot of reasons why people choose comedy. I know for me, when life gets really hard, and because life shockingly has been more challenging than not these past couple of years. I find the best way for me to deal with it is make a joke about it, because otherwise you go, my God, it's real. Life is so sad sometimes. It's hard.
Yeah, no, I definitely, totally, and I think I do that too. It's sort of like, the best way to feel good is when you laugh. So, like if I'm having a shitty day, just watching a comedy movie, watching a stand-up special, I think, yeah, I think laughter is kind of like the quickest way to escape from the realities of the world, which oftentimes are very tough. Um,
Well,
and
laughter's the best medicine, right?
yeah,
Can you imagine? I was just thinking of this. You go to the doctor and you can't afford medication, so they say, "Yeah, just use laughter. It's the best medicine." Something ridiculous like that. There's something.
I would agree with that. I went to a podiatrist recently and
Okay, foot doctor, right?
a foot doctor, yeah,
Yeah,
and I don't have health insurance, so but my foot was really hurting, so I went because I sprained it playing basketball, so it's not like gangrene or anything.
right.
But literally, he like touched my foot a couple times, and he says, "You know what? I think you should just rest it." And I paid 300
Yeah.
bucks for that. For him to just tell me to rest my foot. Can you believe that?
I mean, I'm in Canada, so no, I cannot. We have a
No.
different healthcare system over here, but it's not. It's why a lot of people don't focus on their physical health, right? Or even mental health, I guess, because it's so expensive. So, what are other ways we can do to just cope and feel better? Watch a YouTube tutorial for how to treat your own foot. Watch some comedy so I don't know how painful my foot is.
Well, if he honestly, I would have been more satisfied if he told me to watch like a YouTube stand-up special than told me to just rest my foot because I'm like, well, why the heck did I? So you want me to do something that I'm already doing? You know what I mean? But so in
It,
Canada, healthcare is free.
for the most part, yeah. Yeah, I know. Don't want to brag, humble brag, if you will.
That's awesome. How
Thank
come
you.
America doesn't have free healthcare?
I think this is the best platform to have that discussion.
This is what window chats with Robyn are for, to talk
But we're all
about
about, let's discuss healthcare, discuss,
healthcare
yeah,
situation in the United
I mean,
States.
look, I'm
Yeah.
also a licensed physiotherapist, so when you talked about your foot, I get it. But I'm like already diagnosing it. If it was a sprained ankle, you could have wrapped it, blah blah blah. But
Yeah.
it's so hard to know, and especially when it comes to a pain, and you go, oh my God, am I going to lose my foot? Right? You go down a dark path. I understand the need to see a specialist.
Yeah, that's my issue is I'm turning 30 this year and all the sprained ankles I had until this now, it got completely better like in like a week. But after I
Mm,
hit like 29, 28, man, these injuries they linger. Like
sounds like you should have been doing some physical therapy. We'll talk offline, okay? Let's
I
strengthen your
know
ankles, sir. Okay.
I really have to. Yeah, I like playing basketball. Yeah.
I saw that. I love your bio made me smile. You are doing so much. I love when I read people's bios and I go, that's a lot. I'm tired. It's you're not just, you don't go, I'm a comedian. You're like, I'm a comedian slash what, like you just keep creating things, finding opportunities. Do the comedy shows find you? Do you create the comedy shows? What are you finding these days?
Oh wait, back to the bios. Are you saying when people put like, I'm an actor slash comedian slash
Yeah,
writer
yeah,
slash producer? Wait, but my bio is not like that, is it?
no, but it was like, I did a podcast, I do
Oh,
this comedy show,
oh,
right?
oh,
So
oh,
it wasn't just like, this is my name, I
oh. Yeah,
dabble.
right.
It
Um,
wasn't, I always joke, it's not a polite Canadian bio. It's not, because I had this issue the other day. I was doing what's it called? I was doing a callback the other day. I'm very grateful for the past callbacks. I'm like, oh my God, callbacks, multiple.
fingers
But
crossed.
I never know with this stuff, but thank you. But the only reason I bring it up is because they said, tell me about yourself. And I go, oh shit. I hate that
That's a toughie.
question.
Yeah.
It is because I go, oh my God, what do you want to know? I don't even know if I'm cool enough. I don't know if I can answer this question. Oh God, please don't ever ask me that question. I don't know. Can you just look me up like anyone else would and just make your own opinions? I don't know. So from that, I go, I love people that can pretty much succinctly say, this is who I am, this is what I do. And that's why I reread your bio before we did this, and I go, he has a good sense of self. I like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I definitely, I think it might be the Asian culture too. We try to not bring too much attention to ourselves. We try to
Okay.
be humble, kind of. I don't. So I think for me though, I'm a little bit too that direction because as an actor, you want to kind of have bits of you where you are kind of promoting yourself, and you're able to promote yourself in a compelling way that doesn't come off as cocky. Um, but yeah, back to your question about the shows. Did you ask how do I book shows?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not that I mean, oh my God, how do you book shows? You're not funny. I mean, how do they find you, or do you find them, or how does that work?
yeah. Most of the shows, I don't know about outside of LA, but I know in LA it's just kind of word of mouth.
Nice.
You know, a lot of people here produce their own shows, so they'll be like, "Hey, I'm producing this show. Oh shoot, I need another comic. Do you know anyone who's funny?" Or you go to the same open mic with someone and they were really funny, and so like, "Oh, I remember you. Let me find this guy on Instagram and put him on this show that I'm trying to produce." Um, because recently I got a bigger following, I actually had some people message me and say, "Hey, do you want to do a show?" There's this one guy from Illinois who reached out about doing a show, um, and I'm trying to get the details worked out with him. So that was cool. Someone from a different state wants me to come perform, at his little venue. And I actually recently secured a college agent. So hopefully I'm trying to do more college shows in colleges. I was
Wait, I didn't.
looking,
A college
yeah.
agent? What does that mean? Like they
So a
work
lot of,
for the college?
well, colleges and universities all over the country, they need entertainment for their students for
Oh,
you
yeah,
know
yeah, okay.
whatever events they have, right? So they hire musicians, comedians, magicians, ventriloquists, and they have so they need entertainment. So
Right.
and there's a big market for it. So college
Yeah.
agents, they just specifically focus on providing entertainment for colleges. So they look for comedians, musicians, and whatnot. And what was the
I've
other
never
thing?
heard of it. That's so cool.
Yeah, yeah. It's
It,
called, and they have conferences throughout the year called NACA, which are these conferences where a bunch of performers who want to perform for colleges, they showcase in front of all the student bookers that went to that conference.
yeah,
But those are limited spots. You have to like send in a tape, and if they
that
like you,
makes sense.
yeah. And what was the other thing? What was it? What was it? Isn't this the best when you're on Instagram Live and you can't think of what you're supposed to
For
say?
some reason, I thought I'd be able to help you find your thoughts. I thought I could kind of send it to you.
This happens to me a lot on stage too. I forget what I'm supposed to say and I just pause like this.
Yeah, but and I always think that's your bit. You take the time, you give yourself time to collect yourself. I just kind of mumble my way through life and hope the words will come to me. And then I just rant.
Yeah. Well, that's an effective way too. I mean, I see that work really well. I can't remember what I was gonna say, but yeah,
I love that
it
you have a
was
call. Do you
very
have an
insightful.
acting agent now and a college agent, or how?
Yeah, I have a manager and I have a commercial and theatrical agent as well.
Very cool.
Yeah. They are awesome. They're my first agents, and I had them for a year now, and I plan on sticking with them for a while for the foreseeable future. Yeah. But
I just it's so interesting because in the States you have managers and agents, and in Canada we just have agents that are
no
supposed to do the
managers?
no, you're supposed to do the job of a manager and an agent, which I think is exhausting. So
Oh wow, no
yeah,
managers in
yeah.
Canada. Interesting.
Yeah, I think every talent should be managed. It's exhausting. I know I'm an exhausting person. So
Yeah, well the
I don't know if
problem
it's
is yeah.
exhausting. You know what? It's passionate. Here are my
Oh.
thoughts for my career. This is what
Yeah.
you should do.
Managers have a tough job. And I
Yeah.
just remembered what I was supposed to say about the college thing.
Okay.
I um I cold emailed a bunch of colleges because that's what I also heard you can do. So you cold emailed the student leaders for student activities or something and
Sure.
just emailed them like, "Hey, I'm a comedian. Would you be interested in booking me for this job?" I sent 200 emails
Oh my God.
and only 20 people opened the email. And one of the responses was, "Please don't take me off your emailing list." Cal State Fullerton, that's what they did, yeah.
Oh.
But I got one. I'm gonna be at Chapman University, my sour girl, Chapman University in April, and Chapman is a school in Orange, California. I'll be there doing 30 minutes for, I think, some Asian celebration thing.
Okay.
Hope to see you guys there.
I think you promoted it really well. Gave us a lot of information.
Chapman University.
You'll
So,
well, I have to share it. You know, you got to do the whole Instagram. Here's the time, location. Come, everybody come. Are you allowed to come if you're not a college student? I don't want to, you get like the people in the back that clearly are not in college. Is that
that's
allowed?
a good question. I think you should be able to because it's like a celebration event. But I'll double check. If I find
Yeah, we're
out.
promoting this event that no one else is allowed to come.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think
Oh,
you
that's
should be
so
able
funny.
to. Hopefully.
Yeah. If not, you know what? I love that you have people. Do you have a specific person that films your sets?
No, I just have a tripod with my cell phone,
Oh,
my iPhone, and
amazing.
that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to do that. My husband usually comes to my stuff, and I feel terrible because he's holding it. It's exhausting to hold a phone for that long.
Why don't you get a tripod?
I know, I said, because I didn't want to bring it in and be that obnoxious person. Again, the
Yeah.
Canadian in me. Hey guys, here's my set.
Yeah. Good thing
But
about LA is everyone has a
everyone's
tripod, so it's
ex-
hilarious. At the back of the room, you see like 8 tripods set up, and
I gotta be more US. Guys, I don't care there's an audience here. You can throw in your laughs. It looks better for the reel. Please laugh when I cue you and enjoy. Yeah.
yeah. So you're in Ontario, right?
I am. No
Is
one's ever said
that
Ontario. I just say Toronto and then people know. I love that you went with Ontario. That is my province. Yes.
wow?
Yeah.
How popular is Simu Liu in Ontario?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, he was on Kim's Convenience, right? And then
Yeah.
he just exploded in the best way. I think he's pretty liked. I think he's a talented guy. I don't know him personally. Not all Canadians know each other, as discussed. But yeah, seems to be doing a lot of work. I'm always proud of Canadians that they start off and then you just see where they go. And I go, remember you back from the Kim Convenience days?
Oh. And they shoot a lot of I think they shoot Umbrella Academy in
They
Canada,
do.
The
Umbrella
Boys.
Academy, The Boys, Handmaid's Tale, a lot of other Canadian comedy that's actually not terrible. I was watching one the other day because I'm just trying to see what Canadians are creating. I go, I thought this would be way worse. Look at us. We're getting funny. So, yeah.
So do they go find do they try to find Canadian actors and actresses for those shows, or do they still try to find them in the US first?
That's a great question. I think it depends on the budget, right? So US actors are definitely going to cost more because, they're name actors per se. So if someone's doing a Hallmark movie of the week kind of thing and they want a name in it, that's usually where the whole budget goes. But if they're filming in Vancouver or Toronto or Ottawa, they're just going to use local talent because we are cheaper. So it works if you don't mind not being a lead. But I think it's annoying for actors that are at that point that want to be the lead and want to be that big name that don't have that accolade yet. For me, I don't care. I could do one-liners for the rest of my life and I'd be happy. Just come
Oh,
in.
really?
I'd be nope. I would just own the dry nope like you did when you were a kid.
Oh,
And yeah, But I mean, there is something to be said because I always joke that I want to be that person that you don't know well enough, but they're in everything, right? You go, oh, I saw that
Yeah.
person somewhere else. What were they in? Oh, yeah, they did. And I just like the character roles, you know, because the
Right.
leads, they never really have the funny leads. I don't want to
Yeah.
be that, not the straight person, but I want to be the person that comes in and just causes a little ruckus, says a little funny thing, or is that like, ooh, edgy boss vibe. We don't know if we should like her. Uh,
Right.
that's where I'm at. That's my manifestation, if you will.
But you will still get editions, USA editions though, right?
Um, I don't, maybe at where I'm at in my career, absolutely not. But
Okay.
but I do think other actors they have U.S. agents as well. If you've done well enough in Canada,
Oh,
you end up getting an agent that's in the States. And so you have your Canadian agent, you have your US agent, and hopefully they work well together.
got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I
All
do find
right.
it interesting that I don't really know anyone in the States that is in the States and made a name for themselves in the States that gets a Canadian agent. I've never seen it the other way around. Because if you're known in the States, we'll bring you to Canada.
Oh, but are there any Canada specific shows that's doing really well right now?
Oh, this is like really on the spot. I mean, like Kim's Convenience did really well, but I know the comedies they were filming now is like Working Moms. There's the show called Sort of. There's the show called Strays. I was watching that yesterday. Actually, pretty funny. There's a lot of CBC Gem comedy shows. There was this Jan Arden one that was actually pretty funny too. Oh, I think it was just called Jan. I'm
I
really
really
struggling.
like Trailer Park Boys.
Is that in Canada?
Wait, that's not in Canada?
Is it could be. It could be because that I would say uh, Letterkenny and all those kind of things, which I've tried to watch because I know they audition here. I struggle with being able to find the comedy sometimes.
Yeah.
And I see it. I see it's funny. I see the talent. But I think for me as an actor, I go, I don't know if I could be in it. I don't know if I could do it, which is a
It's
shame
yeah.
because it's hard. It's now
Right.
that I've been doing comedy so long, I go, oh my God, how are they? I was watching the show Welcome to Flatch the other day, and it's so weird. It's this mockumentary of this small town and the things they're doing, and they're doing it so earnestly. And I go, I don't know how they're doing this comedy. It is so well done. It is so believable. It's so bizarre. And I love that. That is my goal is to just be able to be so truthful in my comedy that it's like the funny is just there because I'm fully committed to the character.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have to check it out. Yeah, I know for comedic acting, they said you have to play it real,
Yeah.
and that's what makes it more funny.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Okay, well, I have to check out some Canadian shows. I did watch some episodes of Kim's Convenience, and I enjoyed it.
I mean, I try to watch as many shows as possible now, even shows that I think I'm not going to like, because there's always something special about it, right? There's always like, oh, they filmed this scene really well, or I love how like, even set design sometimes. I go, I really hated that series, but my God, location scouting and set design for this, bravo. Like behind the scenes
Wow.
stuff is so impressive. I know it's
Right.
hard to act. I think behind the scenes is exhausting. I Look,
Oh
I was
yeah.
doing this callback today and I felt for the people behind the scenes because they were running a little late, which happens. But I just know that they're getting hundreds of emails saying what's going on. Because we do Zoom callbacks. And I just felt for them because I go, oh God, this must be so stressful for them.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's you're trying to find things, you're trying to find a fit or tech doesn't work or whatever. It's production is hard, right? Even like you were producing your own stuff, like did you do your own editing, whatnot for your podcast?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's hard.
Production's a lot of work. No, I always give a no, yeah, huge respect for people who's, PA, AD, set design. Yeah, it's a lot of work. Yeah, when I first started going on set, it was pretty crazy to think about, holy cow, they did all this for like a 2-minute scene.
Yeah, yeah.
Crazy.
We live downtown Toronto, and they usually film around where we live. Well, I mean, they film all over downtown Toronto, but we see them spend days setting up shots only to film something for maybe an hour. And I go,
Yeah.
oh God, the people working so hard. Appreciate people that aren't on the camera because they're doing a lot of work.
Yeah, seriously. It's crazy. Yeah, just even for like a comedy movie, like they would do like spend bunch of money, spend weeks getting all the props, getting the set design ready for like a like a 30-second like fart joke or something. It's incredible. Yeah.
It's true. Do
But
you, as a comedian, when you do an on-camera audition, do you struggle with not wanting to improv? Because I'm doing this thing now where I love, like I was creating this web series with a friend of mine, and we have a script, but I find when we improv it, it's so much funnier. But then I have to edit it afterwards, and I hate that we improv and didn't stick to the script.
yeah, I think well, Henry Winkler, he has a major dyslexia. Is that how it's pronounced? Dyslexia.
Yeah, dyslexia. Yeah, yeah.
So he had a very hard time reading. So he says whenever he got an audition, he would try to get as much as he can and just improv the whole thing. And then whenever they said like, "Oh, hey, you're not sticking to the script," he would say, "I know, but I'm giving you the essence." And that's how he booked a bunch of his roles, and he still does it today. I think improv is good if you are able to stick to the script, still stick to the core of the script, I suppose. But especially if you think it will enhance your performance.
Well, yeah, if it's a funeral scene, don't go in and say happy birthday. That's weird. Yeah.
Right, right. So I think they actually because they might like your idea better than their own. You never know, But
Well,
I
then in
think it
that
has
case,
to
I
be
want a writer's
good.
credit. Okay. No,
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah. But for commercial auditions, you definitely, want to improv for sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It's so I always joke about my commercial auditions where I just forget how to be a human. And that's always fun
Right.
for me, right? And it's
Yeah.
like use your phone. The phone that I use every day, I don't know how. What is this phone? Okay.
It's so interesting. As soon as someone puts like a camera in front of you, you're like the most awkward person in the world. Like you start to question like every little thing that you always did. Like, oh, I like how do I lift this cup looking
Yeah.
natural? And yeah, it's hilarious.
I was telling my husband, so one of the things I had to improv was they asked, okay, so what's your credit card number? And I have a really weird memory, so I know my credit card number off by heart. And I'm like, well, I don't want to say my credit card number in this audition. Like, that's not good. So I'm just like, oh, okay, numbers, but no, this is my number. Okay, don't say that. So it's just,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, wait, the camera's still on me. I don't know. Okay.
Right. Yeah. As soon as that camera goes on you, you're like a newborn baby. You don't know what you're doing.
That being said, I'd still watch a newborn. Oh, that's so creepy. Can I say that? I would watch a newborn baby in a respectful manner, not a creepy pedophile
Yeah,
manner.
people watch
Okay.
cute baby videos. I think that's fine.
I mean, they're just
I hope.
discovering life, right? And I think as actors or comedians, we're just trying to discover life and discover all these new ways of looking at it. And that's what makes us compelling and what makes people want to watch us.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a very good point.
Well, thank you. I come
That's
up with some
good.
good words of wisdom when I chat with people.
Oh, well, well, that's just probably a sign of you being a good listener. You're like absorbing information and compiling it down to a phrase or
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like the only time I truly listen is when I do these podcasts. That's why I keep doing them because I have to focus on the person when someone else is having a conversation with you, you're like on your phone, you're on your laptop, looking
Yeah,
outside. I
on
don't
my
know.
dates, that's what
Yeah.
happens. They're all usually on their phones.
Oh no. Do you call them out on that? Or what I would do is I would text them, hey. You know
Oh,
what I mean? As they're sitting across from you. Hi, I
yeah.
just want to be part of this.
You just FaceTime them? Yeah. Um, no, I don't call. It was a kind of I don't call them out on it, but I definitely wouldn't do that. If I am on a date with someone, I definitely would like to show them that they have my full attention.
Right.
The thing that actually demoralizes me a lot on a date is when the girl yawns.
Oh,
When the
okay.
girl yawns while we're on a date, it really demoralizes me.
Yeah, I can't believe that happened. That's just rude in general. You're meeting someone for the first time. I'm so bored. I can't even contain how bored I
Uh,
am. Oh,
oh, I mean, my friends are like, maybe she got off work or tired or something, but the yawns I usually get when I'm on a date is like they don't really cover it up. It's kind of like an open, no hand yawn, so it's very hurtful. But I laugh and I act like it doesn't bother me because I'm a strong, independent man.
we are so different. I would totally, I'd be like, excuse me, am I boring you? And then,
Oh, you would actually call them out like that?
yeah. Well, because, if it's, you're doing something that I think is rude, I'm,
Wow.
if they're on their phone, I'd be like, or I could be on my phone too, or just match them, be like, oh yeah, I can yawn. No, I wouldn't yawn. Although a yawn is contagious. Do you find that when she yawned, did you start yawning?
No,
No.
no.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
but I'm also a huge people pleaser, and I think that will just be on my radar, like, oh, you
Yeah,
don't want to do that, you know? But also, you said you're Canadian and Canadians are polite. So is that very un-Canadian of you to call them out like that?
probably. It's yeah, I don't know if I identify as Canadian. So, unless it comes to healthcare.
Uh, you were born in Canada though, right?
I was, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Canada, it's a beautiful city, beautiful country, yeah.
Oh my goodness, it looks so beautiful right now. I'd show you my view, but apparently that's not good to do on these lives because then people can figure out where you live, and I get that. So let's keep it a little secret.
They
And
can figure out where you live by
there,
your
you know what?
view?
There are certain landmarks I'd say that they go, oh, I know where that is, and then you go, oh, creepy. And
Wow.
the internet is fun. It's cool. It's cool.
Well, very smart of you to be aware of that. Yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is. You learn the hard way. But no, 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 I haven't had that situation. But comedy. So Ryan, what is next for you? Like, is the goal to just dominate the stand-up comedy field?
Oh,
What? Yeah, I mean, I see it.
oh, thank you. What is next for me? I will definitely. So I applied for a NACA conference coming up in February, and I find out if I get it or if I find out if I get a spot for that or not on my birthday, actually, November 14th.
Okay,
So
coming
it's
up.
either gonna be a good birthday or a sad birthday. And from there, do a lot of college shows, keep releasing content, and still do the auditions thing, grind it out. Right now, like the perfect model for the career I want is Jimmy O Yang. He started off with stand up, and he still does stand up, but that's where he I think really like kind of propelled him to other stuff. And
Okay.
then he got on Silicon Valley, got a role in that, and that kind of helped him with other stuff. So that's what I would love to do. I would still love to do stand up, but hopefully get like a role on a TV show and just try to become, like the next Jimmy O Yang or whatnot. Yeah, that's what I am striving for.
I like that. Putting it out there. I want that for you.
What about you, Robyn?
Oh God, this is my daily existential crisis. I have no idea. I just keep doing stuff, see what happens. I'm always
Yeah,
surprised when anyone watches what I do, and I go, "This resonated with people." Okay.
I think that's kind of it though. That's as long as you're doing something.
Yeah. Oh, I'm trying
As
to like
long as
avoid
you're
the
doing
sun here.
something. And
But you know what?
I
I
think,
think
yeah.
here's the thing. Here's what I think, and what I love about the times and the technology is that you're in LA, I'm in Canada, and well, Toronto, and we can just have a conversation about comedy. Like when we randomly met because we were doing a comedy class. And I think the more you learn and extend your knowledge base and grow and want and be open to meeting new people, I just think it's a really fascinating world that we have now, where I can connect with so many people I wouldn't have been able to connect with.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I think yeah, for that period in Zoom where we were in classes with Mikhail who was in New York, someone was in
Yeah.
Utah, you're in Canada. Yeah, it was awesome to have classes with people from all over the country, sometimes the world too. Someone was in Egypt in one of my improv classes,
That's
and
really cool. Yeah.
technology is a great thing.
Is there is there any comedy that you wouldn't do?
Um,
I ask this because when I watch your stuff and I'm like, he's taking his shirt off for the camera. He's talking about his
uh,
man. You're just you're very open. And
yeah,
like
I
I
definitely.
always ask this about body confidence because maybe it's just me or maybe it's like a woman thing or maybe it's not at all, but I'm like, "Oh my God, I would never bear so much of myself for my art."
Oh, yeah. I don't think I'll ever go nude. I think
Okay, okay.
I probably feel a little uncomfortable with that. Um, what I wouldn't do, I don't know. I don't think, no, I think there's, I can't, yeah, I'm pretty laxed in terms of
Yeah.
what I would or wouldn't do. But I will say in one of the shows recently, and I have a clip from it that I'll post soon. I did take off my shirt again because the room was dead. Like it was dead, and so I thought if I had to do something drastic to get the energy back up, so I go up on stage, I take off my shirt, and it even made it even more dead.
Oh,
And there's nothing more sad than seeing a guy, a stand-up who just took off his shirt, hoping to get more energy and he he made the situation worse and he still has like 6 minutes left to do. So at the end of the show, at the end of my set, actually, someone yelled out, "Put your shirt back on." So when I got the light for 1 minute, I just put my sweater back on and I left.
so sad.
Yeah, but that's what happens. You win, you lose.
But
You win.
did you get into shape like I feel like you shared something where you go, look at my transformation. I hope that was you and not someone
Oh,
else. Okay. Was that you?
yeah.
Okay.
No, no, no. Well, I gained. So when I was in college, I gained a lot of weight, and I still
Okay.
remember there was a scale, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna step on the scale, thinking I probably gained like 5 pounds since high school or something, and I gained 33 pounds, and that's when I was like, oh shoot, I really let myself go, and I had a friend in choir who um who lost a lot of weight recently and got into super shape, and I asked him for help, so he helped me how to eat, how to exercise and all that. So I got into like really good shape maybe after like 6 months of working with him, and that was in 2018. So I've been in that shape for a while, but slowly trying to make it more like cut and stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there was a period of time in college where I was kind of chubby, but I was always relatively in shape. In high school, I was in shape. Middle school, I was in shape. I was pretty chubby in elementary school, and then I got chubby again in college. But yeah,
That's it's the freshman 15 or
trend. Well, I gained the transfer 30.
I mean, I say that I remember I was doing my master's and I go, "Oh, I thought it was only freshmen. I thought that's no, you can gain weight at any time in university." So, there you go.
Yeah, what
It's
got me?
hard. Okay.
What got me was I commuted to college, so it was like a 45-minute
Oh.
commute, and I would get really hungry. Um, and I would go through all these drive-throughs. Sometimes I would go to like it was an hour commute, and I would go through 3 drive-throughs in that hour because I eat a lot and I love food. So
Food is
I think that's what got me. So I'll go to like McDonald's. I'm like, oh shit, I'm still hungry. Next stop, let me go to Jack in the Box. Still hungry. Next stop, let me go to 7-Eleven, get a honey bun or something. And do you like
no, but
honey buns?
I made a face because I don't know what they are, but they sound like there's a bun and there's honey in it. That
You
is
never had
what I'm
honey buns
picturing.
before?
I might have, but I could call it something different.
It's
Is that
like
like
a.
a Swiss roll? But like the Swiss roll companies that make them, and they're like a glazed.
It is. It's kind of like a glazed donut in the
Yeah, yeah.
shape of a like a swirl, like a
Yeah,
cinnamon
like a cinnamon
roll.
swirly thing. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think I've had it, but I've seen it. I know what you're talking about.
You never had a honey bun?
I have not, and now I feel like I should. We're gonna end this live, and then I go have a honey bun.
Go to 7-Eleven and they come in, it's probably like $1. And try it. It's pretty
Mm.
good.
Ryan, people keep messaging Hank. Do you go by Hank?
My legal name is Hankyol Koo, and when I was trying to get my Instagram handle, Ryan Koo was already taken, so I just went with Hankyol Koo. But my name under my handle is still Ryan Koo. But yeah,
Right.
technically Hankyol Koo is my real name.
Did you feel the need to change it for
To
acting? Yeah.
oh well, I went with Ryan ever since I moved here. Me and my family moved here when I was 7 years old, and at the
Right.
time I really liked lions. So my mom called me Ryan, and my little brother's name was Leo because we both like lions.
Yeah.
Um, and I just grew up being called Ryan my whole life. And when I decided to do acting, I thought Ryan Koo would be a more. It sounded better to me than Han Kyo Koo, and also Han Kyo Koo might make it sound like I'm like this really foreign actor, which I'm not, you know. So
I find this fascinating because I've spoken to a number of my Asian actor friends, and they felt the need to change it so that people could pronounce it better, or they wouldn't seem so foreign, like what you're saying. And I don't know. Some people that I spoke to felt like they couldn't, their identity was kind of taken away from them in a sense, right? Because your name, that's you.
yeah,
And if someone else can't pronounce it, that's a them problem, right?
yeah, no, my mom when I got my citizenship for the United States, you can actually legally change your name for free. You know,
Okay.
because since you're becoming a citizen, I was gonna change it permanently to Ryan Koo because that's what I went by. But my mom really wasn't happy with that for some reason. She's like, "Why? You're still Han Kyo Koo. You know, you should still
Yeah.
keep it." And I'm like, "Whatever. Okay, fine. I'll keep it." And at the time, I didn't think it was a big deal. But looking back, I'm like, I'm glad I kept it as Han Kyo
Yeah.
Koo, even though I go by Ryan most of the times. Yeah, identity is important.
Oh no, I'm just always curious about that because if you, yeah, like the name Ryan, that totally works too. There's some times where I go, I don't know, Robin with a Y, people don't know how to spell it properly. Maybe I'll change it to Rachel. I don't know.
Why not Robin with an
Although,
I?
oh no, please, Robin with an I is how the boys spell it. Okay, it's Batman and Robin. That's Robin with
Oh,
an I. That is what my parents told me why they chose the Y. And then I've tried to justify different ways of why the Y is cool. But now people take the name
oh.
Robin and they go like Robynne. And I go, there's so many extra letters. Why are you doing that? Sorry to everyone else that spells it that way, but it's weird. Don't spell it that way. Okay.
You got my sour girl said she's a new fan of yours, Robin. Did you
Oh,
see that?
I thought I saw that, but the sun is very much in my eyes and I keep trying to move. So this is the problem with the notion of the window chats using the natural sunlight. And I haven't done it ever in the afternoon when the sun is at its highest peak because we're 3 hour time difference. So I
Right.
normally do it, well, what is 10, 11 o'clock. And so now I'm learning the sun is very strong right now.
Well, you had
But thank you so much. That's so sweet.
my sour girl said you got a new fan, Robin.
I always, you know what? It's so I appreciate anyone saying that because I feel I don't know, I've been creating, I like to say all my life, and I never know what works or what doesn't work with people. And I feel like I kept trying to change myself and who I was to fit what people thought I should be. So I think these past couple of years, I'm trying to just be more truthful, like what we were talking about. And so when I resonate with people now, I go, oh, thank you.
Isn't that so
So weird.
interesting? Like something you think would be really funny, everyone hates it, and
Oh
something
my
you're
God.
like, whatever, I don't care anymore. I'm just gonna post it, and they love it. It's so you never know. You never know. And that's why I think it's even more. It's just better just to be yourself because you never know anyways. You know, might as well do you and see where that takes you. Yeah, but yeah, it's so interesting. Like some videos that I'm like, man, this is gonna be get 1 million views and it gets like 2 likes from my mom, you know, and some videos where you're like, man, this is garbage, but I'm too lazy and I'll just post anyways. It just blows up. It's weird.
It's so there was this one I shared recently, and it's a friend of mine. So I'm doing this comedy series with a friend of mine. His name's Tim Rose. We met at Second City, and He does. He has cerebral palsy. He's in a wheelchair, and
Oh,
we sometimes do really dark humor, and we just go back and forth and improv and see what comes out. And he was just sharing a story about how he got a tattoo. Just he has a tattoo of the wheelchair symbol, so he's branded with the sign of his people. That was the joke, and everyone for different reasons is. I thought, I don't know, I'm going to share it because I think it's interesting. I don't think anyone's going to watch it. And this has resonated with so many people on Facebook Reels for some reason, which I didn't even know anyone watched. That's like, that's why I share it on so many different platforms. And I go, first off, people are on my Facebook page. Like, no one goes to my Facebook.
right.
It's so weird. And that's why you're on TikTok, you're on Instagram, you have your YouTube. So I feel you with all the different platforms and seeing what hits. It's a lot of
It's
work.
I think it's the age too. Like TikTok generally have younger audiences, Facebook's a
Yeah.
little older, Instagram's kind of the in between. But yeah, I had some videos that does well on Facebook, but does horribly on TikTok and vice versa. So I think it's good to put as much of your stuff on as many platforms as you can, because yeah, you might hit the right. Honestly, you just have to hit one person, I think, and that one person just has to share it, and that other person has to share it. And I heard when the algorithm picks that up, like people are sharing it, that helps a lot. So if it just hits that one person, well, honestly, and also it's just luck. A lot of it
Yeah.
is luck. You know, honestly, you might, if you posted it a minute later, it could have done amazing. You know,
Yeah.
it's so much of it is luck as
But
well. You know?
it's so hard for me to get out of the whole mentality of, oh my gosh, I need people to like it. Right? Because sometimes when one does really well, you go, oh yeah, I'm so funny. The rest of the things that I post, everyone's going to think is funny. But I have to kind of step away sometimes and go, I don't, as much as I love when people are, like, oh, that made me laugh, that made me smile. I go, oh yeah, I'm so happy because it made me laugh. I have to kind of step away from needing that external validation. It's so hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard to be, okay, I know only 4 people watch this and I work the hardest.
Yeah. No,
But you know what? Yeah, you keep trying, but some days it's a little harder than others.
no, I get you. That, especially as performers, that's kind of why we're even in, the arts, is we want to entertain people and we want to please people, and how we know if we please them or not is through likes.
Yeah.
And it's so hard, but that actually, yeah, brings me back to Norm Macdonald again. That's why I think I respect him so much, because he seriously just didn't give a crap about all of that, which is incredible. But when he would do sets, and he was interesting because he was famous, but sometimes he would still bomb. And I heard on the podcast that if he does really well after the show, he would just go to the green room and not talk to anyone else, But if he would bomb, they said he would run to the exit and shake hands with everyone in the audience and say, thank you for coming to the show.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
Because when people, that's so funny. Because I know when I do a set sometimes and it just didn't resonate. And then people see me after and they just don't want to make eye contact. They're so embarrassed that they saw something they didn't see.
Yeah.
To go to look people in the eye and shake their hand. Thanks for coming. Glad you liked my comedy. Oh my, that takes guts. I love that.
Yeah.
I want to do that.
But the last point to what you said, why I think it's important to post the stuff that you think it's funny, even though it might not do well, because down the road, when you do blow up, or when you do well for posting something that you thought was funny, those fans will watch your old videos, and then your old videos will do really well. I had some stuff like that too, where I posted videos where I thought it was really funny, but it did horribly. But down the line, people found something that I did. People that really like what I did. I can't talk. Down the line, I posted something where people actually did really like it, and it hit the right group, and they watched my old stuff, and then that old stuff did well too. So if you just stick to what you think is funny, I think it's gonna, when you find the right group, all those videos are gonna do well because that's all gonna be you, and that's why those people are watching you. But I think the vice versa, if you kind of mix it up, then it's kind of hard, because they might like a video for you, but then they go back and they're like, oh wait, this person is not what I actually thought they were. So then they're kind of like, oh well, do I follow them or not? Because I'm not sure. What
Mm.
you know?
What's
Yeah,
their vibe? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get that. Someone
yeah.
wrote something really, oh, my sour girl, they're just killing it right now. That you come across that you're not sure of yourself, that you're funny, but then like you keep winging it. And I see that sometimes, right? You go, when you do, even with your crowd work, oh, why did you think this was funny? I can't do it. I don't have your comedy. I don't have patience to wait online. That's why I find you fascinating. You just bring, I'm just like, here's word vomit. But
Oh,
you say something and it seems like you're not sure of yourself, but you're also sure of yourself at the same time. I think that's a skill that you might not even be aware of. I I love that.
well, I always like when I was growing up, people. I have a self-deprecating sense of humor, and
Okay.
that's what kind of gets the biggest laughs for me.
It
Um,
does. Yeah.
but
People want to see you insult yourself. And I go, okay, cool. I mean, I
they
do that
want
to
to see
myself
me
on a
be
daily
sad.
basis. Let's
Yeah.
verbalize it, right? Let's make some money off of that.
They want to see me be sad. And honestly, though, I think that's kind of me too. I don't like having a lot of. It's weird to say, but I don't like having too much attention on me. Um, and I kind of get uncomfortable when there's a lot of attention on me, and I kind of deflect it by being self-deprecating.
Right.
And usually people like seeing me in awkward situations, and I like being in awkward situations. I think that's funny too. So if people like, awkward deadpan humor, they usually like my stuff because I'm awkward and dry. So I actually have a lot of people in England that kind of like my stuff,
Yes.
because
I
I'm
know
very
because
dry. Yeah.
someone that's British, she goes, oh my gosh, you're so. There's a couple people and they've all been, from England and they go, that's so funny. And I go, you think I'm funny? Thank you. Like, because I say my comments that are very whatever, deadpan, whatnot, and they know it's comedy versus other people and they go, is Robyn just being a bitch? And I go, no, this is
Ah!
funny.
Yeah, it's kind of like The Office. You in
Yes.
America, you either love it or you're like, I never want to see something like this again, you
You
know?
know what?
So,
I rewatched it because I was at an age where my comedy was not loving The Office. And then
uh,
I rewatched it because now I want to do a lot of comedy on camera. And I go, that is so hard to do, but also, oh my God, how do they get through this take? Because they say things and you go, especially nowadays where the show would not have been allowed to be made. When you watch the series and you go, oh, I don't know if we can say this in today's social climate.
oh, yeah, yeah. I know it's so interesting how what's okay 10 years ago is not okay anymore, but no, I love The Office, and I think yeah, I think your people will find you.
Yeah, I like that.
So you just have to post stuff that is you, and then
Yeah.
people will find you, and it'll all work out. It just has to it just has to reach them somehow. And but once it does reach them, it'll all come together. I'm sure. Yeah.
I really like, can we do that? Like, that's your final thought. I love, like, just keep trying, keep creating, and I guess your people will find you. I really like that. Any other final words of wisdom? It's almost an hour and a half. I love talking to you. Oh my God. Also,
Oh.
Instagram didn't cut me off at the hour, so that's on Instagram.
Oh
Normally it
wow.
just
Yeah.
cuts me off and I go, oh no, I didn't finish. It was mid sentence.
I
So,
totally forgot about that. Yeah. Um. Well, yeah, enjoyed talking to you as well. Thanks so much for having me. Truly enjoyed it. And I hope to see you in person like I did with Mikhail. Yeah.
that'd be so fun. Yes, one of
Um,
these days.
yeah, seriously. Final thoughts?
I know it's such a hard question. I would hate if someone asked me that. So I ask you that.
Yeah, yeah. No, final thoughts. Yeah, I think yeah, with what we talked about, yeah, I really like the idea of yeah, just not pandering, like
I like that.
if you
Just
find it funny, there are gonna be other people that find it funny too. So I think as long as you, as a performer or a comedian or a content creator, as long as you're being authentic, as long as you're producing content that you find entertaining, I think it is going to reach the right people eventually, and it'll all work out.
finger guns.
Yes. Darn. I was hoping I would have something more poetic to say at the end, but
I thought it was good.
oh wells. You think so?
Are you doing your self-deprecating humor?
Sure.
It was no. This was. Thank you so much for being a guest. I really appreciate it. Everyone, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for all the amazing comments that people were writing. That was
Yeah.
such an insightful group of people. Thank you all for watching now. Thank you for future viewers who are going to watch this. And yeah, follow Ryan everywhere. He's got the TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. You have a good website. It's very easy to contact you. Just follow him. He's got shows coming up. He's going to be at colleges that we don't know if we can be at that show, but we'll find out. And yeah, Ryan, just keep being awesome. I very much enjoyed this chat. I really appreciated it.
Yes,
So
no,
so
I
glad we met random online.
appreciated chatting with you too. Thank you so much, Robyn. And thank you everyone who came to watch. Yeah.
Okay, have a good rest of your day.
You
Bye.
too, Robyn. Bye.